We're talking today with Peter Agre, Director of the Johns Hopkins Malaria Research Institute. Dr. Agre, thank you for taking the time to talk with us today.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks for your interest.
I'd like to ask you a few questions about the International Centers of Excellence for Malaria Research grant. Johns Hopkins Malaria Research Institute has been awarded, and I understand that there will be 3 different field sites that are part of this grant for the Institute. Could you give us just a brief introduction to them?
Our award for the International Center of Excellence will be in Southern Africa, and we'll be looking at 3 distinct regions in Southern Africa where there are different patterns of malaria. In southern Zambia, where our major station at Macha is located, over the past decade, malaria has been brought under pretty good control, going from well over 1,000 children admitted to the local hospital per year to just a few dozen. So that surveillance will continue. In the north of Zambia, unfortunately, things are not so good. Up along the border with the Democratic Republic of the Congo, malaria has never been under control. And in fact, their local hospital admits thousands and thousands of children every year with malaria. And the explanation for these differences are not so clear. The third site we will be working in eastern Zimbabwe, in Mutasa, malaria was under control in previous decades. But with the collapse of the government in Zimbabwe and the erosion of public health standards, malaria has gotten out of control. So there are 3 areas malaria has been successfully controlled, never controlled, or is now resurgent. And the explanations for the differences in the clinical presentation could be very informative as to how we should move forward.
What kind of research will the Malaria Research Institute be carrying out there in those sites?
So this is clearly field research, and we have 3 major projects which will be ongoing. The first, spearheaded by Bill Moss from the epidemiology department here at Bloomberg School of Public Health, will be undertaking detailed epidemiological surveys of the households in each of these regions. The households will be gridded by satellite mapping. We'll know where everybody is. We can then keep records of where malaria has been diagnosed and know where to look for recurrent malaria and for the carrier state in the summer. So epidemiology will be the first project. The second, spearheaded by Doug Norris from the Department of Molecular Microbiology here at the Bloomberg School, will be to do classic entomological research, identifying which of the Anopheles species are out there. There are multiple species of the genus Anopheles that can carry malaria, and some are more efficient in carrying it than others. And the disappearance of clinical malaria has never been correlated carefully with mosquito populations. The third survey, then, which will be spearheaded by Sungano Marakura, our lead scientist in Macha, will be to conduct sequencing comparisons looking at parasites from these 3 different regions. Are they genetically all equivalent, or are there some genetic markers that may provide important clues as to why malaria is more recalcitrant in one area than another?
What do you see the impact being of this research?
Well, we can never guarantee what the impact will be. This is clearly hypothesis-driven research, but I think it'll likely provide a clear explanation, first off, why the success has been achieved in southern Zambia. And there are a number of activities that have been ongoing, but we believe that the careful screening in the off-season for carriers and then aggressively treating them has prevented the reoccurrence of malaria during the on-season, during the rainy season. So that's one impact we would like to confirm. And if that proves to be established, that will then be a goal for the activities in the other 2 sites. So in the end, we hope that these studies will give us clear understanding of the explanations, explanations for why the clinical differences in malaria occur in these 3 regions.
Dr. Agre, thank you very much for talking with us today.
Well, you're welcome. I've enjoyed it, and thank you for your interest.